Hi, my name is David Burns. I am the account executive covering the federal government of Canada, and I wanted to take a few minutes to show you the power of pure data mobility. But first, let's talk a little bit about where we came from. Pure, back in 2009, set out to fix the storage industry, and I know that's a bold statement, fix. Where did that come from? Why was that said? Well, if you look back at 2009 and even today, at the end of 5 years, customers really only had two options. One, they had to completely buy all over again, the hardware and the software. Or two, they had to buy extended maintenance at a higher cost because the storage hardware had become aged. So our founders looked at this and thought this was not acceptable, and it was time to fix the storage industry. As you can see from this slide, it's working. From a market share perspective, you can see in the lower right corner how we are outpacing the market over the last 6 years. From a revenue perspective, we are chasing a $2 billion revenue number, and we're chasing 10,000 customers, and we've only been delivering systems since 2012. From a Magic Gardener perspective, we are in the top right and have been there for 6 years. From a Net Promoter Score perspective, we have the highest Net Promoter Score in all of IT, outpacing Apple, outpacing Tesla. Today, Pure is the fastest growing independent systems company of all time, outpacing VMware, ServiceNow, Cisco, etc. So how did we do it? What we did is we created a brand new architecture, something that had never been done in storage, and we called it Evergreen. What is Evergreen? What we in essence did is we abstracted the operating system of storage from the hardware. The hardware is stateless. So in other words, there's very little intelligence within the hardware itself. We do make purpose-built hardware, but the intelligence resides in the actual software. What that allowed for us to do was then transform the storage over time as required with no downtime or performance degradation whatsoever to the system. And then as a result, we could create an entirely new business model. So what did that look like? What does that look like today? So with Pure, every single bit of software that we offer is included. In fact, if you get a quote from Pure, there's only 3 line items on the entire quote: the actual array, the subscription costs, and an install SKU. That's it. Everything's included. You also get flat or better maintenance forever. So whatever you pay for maintenance today will be the same price you pay 12 years from now, regardless of how many times the infrastructure transformed in the middle. And then lastly, your hardware transforms. We provide new storage controllers to you every 3 years as part of that maintenance. So at the end of 10 years, your storage controllers and your array is only 1 year old. Your hardware is always new. So to summarize, you've always got new hardware. You've always got the latest, greatest software at no additional costs with no licenses to manage. And your maintenance costs will be flat, completely unique to the industry. From an efficiency perspective, we can deliver 1.6 petabytes into a 3 rack unit space. And that will consume less than a kilowatt of power and deliver 0.5 millisecond latency sustained. We can actually take it to 0.1, but 0.5 out of the box. And that solution will deliver 6 nines of reliability. Elastic is interesting because obviously we can go into the petabyte scale, but what's even more interesting is the Pure as a service model that allows for you to buy the terabyte. You can start with as little as 50 terabytes and scale into petabyte scale, paying at a per gig per month cost, just like you would buy public cloud services today. effortless. Well, everybody says they're easy to use. Pure is a little different. And what I mean by that is every single piece of software is included. I told you that. But the one thing I didn't tell you is that every piece of software and every feature is running all the time. Deduplication, compression, and very importantly, encryption. So as a result, it is impossible to put a bit of data onto Pure that isn't encrypted. It also means that to create a volume, it's a name and a size, regardless of the workload. This is true effortlessness. Now, what we've done today is we've taken this whole concept of abstraction and we've made it be mobile. We are solving for hybridity in your systems. There are many clouds in everyone's environment. And what we're allowing for with this is to build one pipeline, one data pipeline that allows for data to move across the pipeline as required. So let me show you what that looks like. As an example, you can very easily move data between one data center to the other and back again. Now, everyone can do this, some form of replication, that's whether it's async or sync or metro cluster, everyone has that capability. What's different with Pure is A, it's included, B, it's always on. So it really takes only 4 clicks to enable with no additional purchase, no additional hardware. We take this further. You can move the data to a co-located cloud. And in this scenario, Pure can sit in the co-location and through Express Route or Direct Connect to Azure or AWS. You continue to use those services like you would today, but your backend storage is Pure. That means you can hug your data. That means you can point at your data. Data residency is no longer an issue because you know exactly where every bit resides. On top of that, because you own the data, there are no egress costs. So if you decide to move away from the cloud provider, there are no taxes in making that move. You also can now today, through our Cloud Block Store feature, which is our virtual edition of Pure, move data to the public cloud. So you can move that data to public cloud and back again. And all the features and all the things I've already talked about are just as true in the virtual space. So you will use deduplication, compression, for example, using less capacity in the public cloud, so less AWS or Azure capacity. You also will have encryption enabled all the time and all the mobility features available, allowing for you to move data back and forth. But not just between your data center and the cloud, you can move between clouds. So whether you're moving from AWS to Azure or back again, whether that be co-located or public cloud to public cloud, you now have the ability to move the data through different public clouds. You also have the ability to fall back. So if you've been in a situation where you've moved data to the public cloud and recognized that maybe it was the wrong decision, maybe this particular application wasn't well suited for the public cloud, you can now fail back. Today, Pure is not just storage. Today, Pure is a data hypervisor, allowing for you to abstract your data from all of your locations and move data to where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. We've taken this to the next level in our purchase and acquisition of Portworx, which today takes these same concepts and applies them to containers, allowing for you to take any application and move data regardless of distribution of Kubernetes, regardless of the cloud platform, and right back through to your storage infrastructure, whether it's Pure or not. So being completely agnostic. So containers can move freely across all of the infrastructures on-prem and off-prem and allow for better data development, better DevOps work, etc. It also allows for DR and backup solutions within your container platforms. So what's this all mean? What it does for you is it allows for you to accelerate your workload migration. So if you're looking to move to new data centers, new sites, etc., we now can give you across this data pipeline the ability to move data easy. You can accelerate any public cloud projects that you may have, because today you don't have the ability to move out, to make a fallback, a failback plan. With that failback plan in place, you can be a little bit more aggressive and lean into your public cloud strategy. Data security. Every bit of data that sits on Pure, whether virtual or physical, will be FIPS 140-2 compliant. Always encrypted. No need to audit. It's impossible to put a bit of data onto Pure that isn't encrypted. And then disaster recovery. Well, data mobility and the whole data pipeline concept really allows for data to be in multiple places at the same time, or to move data as required. That's what DR is. So natively, Pure allows for you to make multiple copies across multiple sites in the event Godzilla steps on one data center and now you need to access the data in another. That is all natively built into Pure. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what Pure can bring to data mobility within your data center. Thank you.